Yes, my people, how's it going? It's your boy Jay.
And your boy Trizzy.
And right now, you're locked into the Clean Energy Show. Hope you're all having an amazing day, but if you're not, you're in the right place.
You hear people say this all the time, right? I'll die for my kid. Cool, you should, but can you live for them? You know, like if I phoned my dad and I said, you know, and I was crying, I said, fucking no, Dad, you know, this has happened, I need £1,000. He'd send me £1,000. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But what good is that?
Yeah.
What good is that to me when you don't remember your grandson's birthday?
So my people, we've got a very special guest on the show today. This is someone in our class who's a very good friend to me. He's an amazing father. He's one of the realest rappers I know. And whenever we get down to conversation, the gems are forever being dropped. So I thought it's only right we get him on the show and we make it happen. So without further ado, we've got my brother Kier in the building.
Living through fear like Batman. You don't really know me, I'm like Bruce Wayne. You don't know about late nights, holding a noose in pain. I had it easy enough, big spliff, 2 pints, I'm easy enough. Eyes like the sunset, leaning on ya. More tequila for her, more shots, more vibes. Look, I'm just out here unmedicated. Man, the shit that I suffer with's lethal. Climb to the top of the church steeple and jump. No gym, but I'm way too pumped. Life I'm living like, hey, you should be killing it. But I'm only human, and I've been sitting in the dark, and the only light in the room is the light from the moon. I'm fuming.
You going, my brother?
Yes, my brother.
Come on.
How are you?
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
How's it going, bro? You alright?
Very well, thank you.
You feeling good?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you,
Trust
my
me,
brother.
I'm very pleased for you.
We're glad to have you here as well,
Thank
man.
you, man.
I thought we'd get straight into it, Kier. So talk to us. Tell us a bit more about yourself and what it was like growing up in the life of Kier.
All right, well, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Kier. I'm a rapper from West London. Growing up in the life of Kier is a very complex thing, Jay, as I'm sure you know.
Yes.
You know, I'm from West London, from Hanwell. Love where I'm from. Love all of that. You know, I know you're from there as well.
Well,
so
bro, we're from the same area. That's it, man.
Yeah. So that's me, really, in a nutshell. Not really too much to say about that, but that's me. That's Kier, rapper, West London.
There we go. That's it. So tell us more. Obviously, we come from the same area growing up. Obviously, I've had my experiences. Tell us a bit more about what it was like for you growing up in West London, in Hanwell, because I know I saw like different sides. Obviously, you got the richer side of Ealing, for instance, and then you got where we're from as well, where we saw up and amongst it as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, what was it like for you growing up in West London?
Do you know what? That's a good question. I had a good experience growing up in West London because it was very mixed for me. So, like, I grew up with my mum and my first little sister, and we all lived together. My mum and dad split up very early, when I was about 3.
Okay.
But my mum wanted to ensure that I lived in an area and was aware of like different cultures and different things happening around me. That was something that she really pushed. And living where we live, you look at that today in 2023, as opposed to, I'm talking like 1989, 1990, long time ago, you know? So it was even very different then, but still that's the greatest thing for me in terms of living in West London and growing up in West London, is that cultural diversity and how that has impacted on my life. Because my mum, she raised us from early, like we all used to share same bed in a particular area, like Cavendish Avenue. Okay. West Ealing, Hanwell sort of area. Me, my mum, and my sister, this one little bungalow thing, and she did quite well actually. So you said to me, like, what's it like living in an area where you're at the bottom and you're at the top? You've got the richness and this and that. Like, so when I started to get to like 15, 16, my mum had sort of managed to do well, and she got a good job, and we had a nice house by the time that I was sort of 15, 16. You know, I'm very grateful for that. But before that, we lived the other side. Yeah. So I've got lost, but I love living in West London, and I spoke a lot about my mum there because I think my mum, she chose West London to raise her children. Yes. She was born in Liverpool, raised in Dorset. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. And she's something else in terms of like loving humanity. Okay. So I think if I was to take something away from living in West London, it would be the appreciation that I have now as a grown-up of human beings. Because I didn't live in a particularly like white area or black area. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the difference between Brixton and fucking Chalfont, or it still might feel Like there is a social or economic divide there, but there's also like a racial thing. Like people are the same race here, the same race there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's a nice blend.
So living in West London, beautiful.
Yeah.
Was it always like that from, you're saying the early years? You say like the 1990s, would you say?
Yeah, I was born in 1985.
1985.
Don't get your calculators out. Yeah? Leave it. I'm 29.
So 1985 up until now, would you say like a lot's changed in that with what you've described there, with how
In
it
West
was?
London?
Yeah, in West London.
Oh, massively.
Yeah, even with what you're saying about cultures and stuff like that.
Yeah, but do you know what I like is that, in my opinion, it's changed, like, in a way that I haven't noticed because it's always been like that for me.
Right, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So it may have changed to other people who start their sentences with things like, it's a bit different around here now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, now we're looking at, it's how it should be in the world now. Conversation done, you know? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you mentioned a minute ago that you was living originally in a one-bedroom bungalow, was it? With your mother and your sister?
One-bedroom bungalow, yeah.
Damn.
One-bedroom bungalow. 6 days though. Amazing days, yeah.
Tell us more
But
about that. Yeah.
the most amazing thing about that experience that I take away is looking at my mum as a hero. You know, it's difficult for me to talk about any deeper than that because I don't really remember it, but I know it now as an adult, as a parent, and I look at that as a particular circumstance that a human being had to go through to make it work.
Yeah.
And I know my mum made it work.
Yeah.
So she's a G.
Yeah.
She's a G.
Do you speak to your mum now about what she used to do when obviously you was younger with how you deal with your son now? Is that something you...
Not really.
No. It'd
No.
be interesting if you obviously...
Yeah, well, do you know why? Because I think when you're a parent of a young child,
Yep.
you're normally a younger adult, you know? So my mum, now in her 60s, yeah, is a very different person to who had me, Kier, at 25.
Okay.
So if I'm saying, oh yeah, maybe if something was like this, mum, when you was 33, 34, and I was 9, yeah, why were you doing that? But actually what I can say is, you're younger than I am now, and your kid is older than my kid is.
Yeah.
So I see your struggle. I don't need to ask you questions on that.
Yeah.
Like, I love you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's sweet, man. That's real powerful as well, because it seems like all the things that did happen is giving you like a good starting base, like the tools. So when you're, you know, obviously, as you said, you got your little one as well. It's giving you a good structure on how you're raising them and everything like that.
Definitely.
So, mum is, shouts out to mum. She's a real superhero.
Absolute superhero. And Triz, you know yourself, parent as well, man.
Definitely.
Trust me.
So it's, I would say it's something that we are constantly on a journey of learning. That's the way I put it. I don't think there's no textbook to say like this is how it is, but you're sitting here today, and as a result, you know.
As a result of her.
Yeah, exactly. So
Because of her.
Has there been like things that you've picked up on that you were growing up was like, Mum, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? But now being a parent yourself, you're like, I get it. Have you ever had that sort of like
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You know, and I'm not gonna talk about my mum's life. She's my everything. But there's things you come to terms with, hopefully, as you grow older, as an adult, because we all will experience some form of like childhood unsureness. I don't want to say like childhood trauma or like mad terms. I'm not saying that. But like there are points in your life that there was a lack of understanding when you was a child that you now are able to question critically as an adult, even though you're the same person.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you're this adult that's looking after the child version of yourself.
Yeah.
So I can have those. I have those questions. I don't need to. Like I said, I don't need to ask my mum them because I rate her so massively. Like, why am I going to ask a woman now who's done everything for me? Yeah. In her 60s, what decisions she was making when she was 34 with 2 children, you know, 8 and 6. later. I've never done that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And as a result, I want to sit here smug and smart in my own head, thinking, oh, actually, no, you know. It's like, you know, the universe has given us life. Why am I out here questioning the universe?
Because it's interesting you take that perspective of it, because I know a lot of people would, you know, come on the other side and they'll be like, oh yeah, sometimes, you know, they keep on going back into reference, but the way you're saying it as well, there is a huge difference, different time period, different circumstances. As you said, like your father as well, she's a mother, so, you know. Sorry
to interrupt you, but do you know what that's about? That's about balance and understanding and empathy in life. And because my mum, through the very small things, like you say, is there anything you might question? Yeah. If I said I wasn't, I'd be lying. Yeah. But the amount that she's done for me, it's not worth a question. But my dad, is the opposite. Okay. You know? So I question every single mistake this guy makes because he hasn't done enough. Now that I'm a parent and I understand, in my opinion, he hasn't done enough to counterbalance that. Yeah. And as parents, and as a parent, as a father myself, that's something I'm trying to do. So I tell my son all the time, you know, I'm just a human being. I'm just a human, you know, because he hero worships me. So, like, but I don't want him. I don't want him to be disappointed when he grows up to know I'm just a man. But I personally feel he'll always look at you as his hero. Yeah. I think he will always do that because with my granddad, like my dad wasn't there, my granddad was there, and he doesn't even have to raise his hand or say anything. It's like I've still got that same feeling from when I was small. Like he could tell me the sky's going to be purple today and I could consider believing it because he's still my hero. So I think, as we said, because it's a journey, I feel like, well, you're doing a phenomenal job already because he's looking at you as his hero. I think the first impressions will stick with him as it goes along. Obviously, it's a journey. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, you know, you put his life before your life and everything like that, and you obviously got a good recipe. You come from good stock. Look, Mumsy's got you there. My mum's good. She has put my life many times before her life. Yeah. And I understand the importance of that.
Yeah, so that would be there.
Yeah.
So tell us more about, obviously, your relationship with your father then. You mentioned a minute ago.
Yeah, so, I mean, I've had times in my life growing up when I was a kid, you know, my dad, in my mind, was a bad man. Yeah. Honestly. And it's kind of what worries me is why I explain things to my son. Because my dad was everything to me growing up. Like, he was this cool guy. He knew all these people, and like there was constantly things going on around him. He's a very talented pianist. Amazing. Like, he's self-taught, but he got to he passed all the grades. He's done concerts, everything. Like, I've got an Instagram video.
Supply.
But as I've gotten older, I've realised that he's a very complicated man. Very, very complicated man. And he doesn't come from the best stock. Not at all. You know, he comes from lines of mental illness, of alcoholism, of suicide, you know, of physical, emotional abuse. You know what I mean? In the same breath, he comes from a line of geniuses, because the stock that they have. You know, his dad was a brain surgeon. My granddad, one of the youngest brain surgeons in the country. Okay. Played semi-professional football in Ireland. This man, but then, you know, woke up at 10 o'clock in the morning, drunk martini out of the bottle, and was seriously fucked up. So anyway, I've gone off on a tangent. But yeah, my dad is a complicated person, and he definitely has allowed his complications to filter in and down to his kids. You know, and I don't like get twist up about that. It's not like, oh rah, fucking, I think something, so that's my dad's fault. It's not like that at all now. But what I recognise is, through the pain, through that, I feel like generational pain that I feel. I don't give it to my kid like you did.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because the guy, you know, he abusive, drunk, shouting, like, yeah.
Yeah. So would you say with those things that's happened, I relate it back to my story because my dad wasn't about. That always keeps me about in essence. Do you feel like those things that you've come through as references, that's the part where you're saying, you tell your boy, I'm only human, because obviously we don't know what's to happen in the future, but at the same token, you're letting him know, if I do make mistakes, it's not because I don't love you and I don't want to be there for you. So would you say in essence it's kind of a strength, like you can draw from it? I know obviously it's
I just want him to judge me as a person when he grows up, not as someone who was trying to be the perfect dad.
That's good.
You know?
So you said growing up, obviously your dad was like a superhero, so you looked up to your dad. When was it that you realised that, like what we just spoke about, you know, you started feeling them things and realising what he was really doing, that was making you feel like how you was feeling? When did that click and you realised that he...
When I was about 35.
Really? Yes. Okay. That's interesting.
Okay.
So before that, you must have been questioning yourself and him, or was you just not aware of? Was you in some sort of... What made it click?
When I realised that my love for my son was greater than the love I had for anything else. That's not to say that I don't have my own problems. I do. I've messed up around my child. I've shouted at someone. I've sworn in the car. So I fucking, those things. Like, I'm not perfect. You know, Daddy. He says, "Daddy, how many beers have you had?" I'm like, oh God. You know, you feel bad. Like, But you know, I've lived in the house I live in now. For 5.5 years. My dad lives about 25 minutes down the road from me. I go and visit him, help him out, whatever he needs. He's never been to my yard. I think to myself, if my son got a new house, I'd be, bro. We're having we're having beers, pizza, and an interior design day, bro. You know, we're not having not being there for 5.5. We fucking do your thing. Bring a bottle over, celebrate.
Do you know what I mean? I think it's funny you say that though, because I've had a lot of friends who've said stuff similar. Even myself, I've experienced that as well. And I've come to terms with sometimes it's not that they don't love or want to enjoy that. Sometimes I feel like our generation now to do that a bit better. Or like we just do it in a certain way and it's just not how they do it.
But do you think that's because we're having more dialogue now?
Potentially,
so obviously, obviously what we're doing with the show, we're trying to get the norm for people to talk, because we are the generation of kids where, you know, it's the tail end of seen and not be heard. So if you're feeling something, you didn't really talk to your parents about it, and then they would deliver the information of, I hear where you're coming from. It was like, stop your noise and go sit down and do your work kind of thing. So me personally, I think it is because we're having a bit more open dialogue. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. We live in a world of open dialogue. Did you have a question?
I did have a question for you. Why do you think your dad hasn't come to see your new house when you moved in?
I couldn't tell you. You know, maybe a few years ago I would have made up some psychoanalytical answer about my fucking childhood and this and that. But at some point you have to realise effort shows. You know, where you put in, you get out.
Yeah.
So
100%.
That's it.
Yeah.
I see someone who puts in other places. You know, like if I phoned my dad and I said, you know, and I was crying, I said, fucking no, Dad, you know, this has happened, I need £1,000. He'd send me £1,000. You know what I mean? But what good is that?
Yeah.
What good is that to me when you don't remember your grandson's birthday?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying I don't cry an ox man for money, but like I know he would, because to transfer dough doesn't take effort. It is 5 seconds, right? With Vimo, what is it? What's Vimo? Whatever that is. Fucking hell. PayPal.
Monzo.
There you go. Monzo.
Emo.
Yeah. But it's I couldn't tell you. I don't know, Jay. Don't know.
Would you say like do you reckon it could be anything to do with the fact that you're talking about maybe more physical and emotional support as a dad? And our generation, I believe, is getting a bit better because we are the social media. We're talking more. Do you think it could be that he just struggles in like the emotional
yeah, but I mean, imagine coming. You know, the guy was raised by Catholics. Went to a nunnery school. You know, was left-handed, which was the devil's hand. So that
I'm left-handed.
that explains a lot. Honestly, explains a lot. No, I'm joking. Left-handed people, we love you. You know, no L's, it's for left. You know. Yeah, he went to the Catholic school, the nunnery, and that. Like they used to beat. They would beat with a cane, being left-handed because that was the devil's hand. So he would suffer a lot of abuse. His dad was an alcoholic. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. I do get it. So but I could say, sorry, but like my dad is an alcoholic.
Right.
I've suffered fucking shit. But bro, if my son got a house, I'd be there be there. I would have given him the money to get it.
Yeah.
Like, let's not beat around the bush. Like your effort shows.
So the emotional currency outweighs the financial.
Absolutely, every time. I watched a brilliant clip the other day on TikTok or whatever it was. This guy, I think I can't even remember what it's called. Brother, I'd love to shout you out. What you do is amazing, but I don't remember anything. And he asked his sons. He said, like, is there anything I can do more for you as a father? And they're answering the question.
Powerful.
Very powerful.
That's that open dialogue that we were talking about, you know. Just checking in to see how they are. Anything like that. But it sounds like you got a really strong bond with your son and everything like that, which is amazing. And like, I think that, as you said, I know we talk about generational things, getting traumas and illnesses and passed down to us, but I would go as far as saying it looks like you're breaking the norm with that, because he doesn't. Would you like to say like he has no knowledge of anything from after you, or you know, like you've created a world of, you know, of comfort for him to move forward?
I create a definite world of comfort, but I think I try to also create a level of honesty with him that tends to be 3 or 4 years above what most people would suggest is acceptable. But I don't see it like that. I just sometimes I think the faster you realise Santa ain't real, the quicker you realise how fucking expensive Christmas is for your parents, and then how you can get involved with your family, and then how you can help out too, how you can be a part of that. So like I can be a little hard on him. I can be, if I'm honest and I reflect on that right now and I'm looking at you, man, and I'm honest with myself, I can be a little bit hard on him. But I tell him that.
Yeah, but the world's not easy outside though. So I agree with that. Like the quicker you the quicker you find out, it's like, I don't know, reference to touching the iron. They told you not to touch it. You go and touch it, you get yourself burnt quickly. You'll put the iron away. So the world's not going to give you second chances like that. So you have to kind of prepare.
But then also what you're doing though is you're taking away the magic of Santa.
Yeah. I'm
not a superhero, young man. You know, I'm everything for you, and I always will be.
Yeah.
Pardon me. I'm everything for you, and I always will be.
Yeah.
But I'm not a superhero.
Yeah.
Like, and that was hard to take for me. So I don't want to let him down.
Yeah.
You know.
I know what that pressure feels like.
Yeah. So I do the opposite, which is you have something that you want your dad to attend, bang, I'm there.
Yeah.
You have school show, parents' evening, something, this, that. I'm there constantly. I'm not with my son's mum. I have this guy 3, 4, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
He wants to be with me.
Yeah.
I want to be with him. You know what I mean?
That's the nice rewarding part there as well, because I think when they're small, they can't do nothing for themselves. So once you put things in place, because I have this similar, set up where my little one, she can't wait to pick up the phone, and it's like, it's not an organised date structure. It's when she wants to come, which is majority of the time.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Chiz, yeah?
Yeah.
Ladies and gents, can we just say, we've made a couple of cuts today because Chiz's daughter's banging off the phone, you know? So, this is real talk. There's real talk. Real
Daddy
talk.
loves you, Daddy loves you.
Your daddy, he does. Sorry to interrupt you, my brother.
That's perfect. Yeah. She's going to love that. She's going to be sending that out. Shut up.
Yeah, that's nice.
So, do you think, Kier, that it's important to your children, our children, for instance, your son? Do you think it's important that he expresses his feelings and he knows that he can express his feelings? You know, because from what I hear and what I know, you guys have a very strong relationship. So, do you push? Obviously, I know you're trying to like change the mold. Obviously, you said about Santa as well, like bringing him into the real world from early. Do you, in terms of expressing his feelings and talking to you, how do you deal with that? Because like I know that's a fine line between you don't want him caught up too much in his feelings, but at the same time you want him to feel like he can talk to you.
So I reckon, yeah, my son is very similar to me. So I know what to offer him because I know what I lacked. Like he's amazing. What was the question again, Jay? Just quickly phrase that to me again because I had a lot. Trust me.
Do you feel like it's important for us to teach our children to express their
feelings? Yeah. Yeah, bruv. The expression of feelings is massively important. Not just for children, for everyone, but in particular children. So, like, I have to be very careful about where I draw the line sometimes because I'm strict, I'm firm, I don't business, and I expect a lot from you because of your potential. And also, I need you to be able to express yourself because that's massively important. He's very good at it. Bless him. But I know when my son speaks to me, he doesn't want to upset me. I know that much. He's afraid of my temper. I get angry. I tell him off. What are you doing? Like, he doesn't want to be shouted at because his mum's a bit soft. You know what I mean? But yeah, the expression of children's emotions is essential. And I don't think as a parent, you're going to be able to create an environment where that is happening perfectly. Yeah. Because very rarely in life are we able to create those environments where anything's happening perfectly. But it has to be in your subconscious as a parent. It has to be something that even when you've messed it up, even when you've shouted, even when you've taken it too far, you still think there's nothing wrong with going back and saying, do you know what? Yeah, I tell him, I call him my brother. Sorry, my brother. Like I do. I say to him, I'm sorry, my brother. Man. I'm sorry, man. You know me. I get upset. Like it pisses. He's 7. I shouldn't say it, but I say it pisses me off when you do that. Like so, I shout. Like, but I don't want you to feel that you can't speak to me. Yeah. So that's a massively important question because, quite simply, children should be able to express themselves to you. Done. When I lick them, when I did that, none of that. Speak. Be honest. Let me help you. Trust me. Trust me.
That's some powerful. That's a powerful answer right there.
I'm with you. I'm with you with every step of you're saying, and I feel like if anybody else is listening and they're gonna step into this world of being, you know, a father or even a mother as well, those are the kind of tools that is, you know, necessary to be heard. Because sometimes I feel people put pressures on themselves when they're gonna be a first-time parent. You know, they worry about the financials. Do we have enough of this? Do we have enough of that? But as you said, it's more important to just be there than to actually always have to be, you might not be a millionaire tomorrow. There's always going to be debts and problems that comes up. It's the way you manage it. So, yeah, talking to your children, I fully agree with that and everything like that. Because if we get them started from now, the next generation will be looking after themselves after that.
Triz, I'm sorry. I know you've got the Clean Energy t-shirt on, so I'm going to flip the script then. But like, what's it like for you being a father?
It's amazing.
No.
It is absolutely amazing, and I know she's gonna be watching this and be like, "Yeah, I changed his life," things like that.
Girl, it changed his life. That's it, man. Trust me.
So you know, and on the previous ones of where me and Jay have got into the conversations, that interesting part of where you said about with you know, with the relationship with your father, when it changed was when, you know, 35 and whatever, that shifted for me when I was doing all my silliness before. And then when that little life came, it's like, I don't know, my whole perspective just changed on a lot of things. I was being more cautious with stuff, because before I would probably say to myself, I don't care what happened to me. Now I'm saying to myself, I can't afford not to be here for her. You know, because if you're gone, there's no more conversations, there's no more, you're not there to literally guide them when they got their first problems, you know
what? Yeah, it's funny you said that, you know. Because, you know, you say when you're gone, that's it. And you hear people say this all the time, right? I'll die for my kid.
Yeah.
Yeah? Like, well, cool, you should. But can you live for them?
Yeah, that's a very important point.
Mad. And I'm hard on myself for that, because I drink and I smoke and I'm hurting myself. You know what I mean? And I think to myself, God, I could say right now that I'd ride out for my son. We all would. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're West London, whatever. Yeah. Hey, if that's my kid, I'm coming for you. All of this shit. But would you stop smoking for them?
Yeah.
Oh. Do you know what I mean? Would you dying for them? Saying you die for them is easy. Can you live for them?
That's the internal damage, and catches up with everybody later on. Yeah. So that's interesting you said it like that as well, because we always think about.
Do you have guilt as a father?
No, I wouldn't say I do, because I think in the beginning I probably would have certain things I would have said, oh, I should have done it like that. You know, that pressure of being a first time parent, as I was saying from before. But then once I'm going through this and I'm like, no one ever gets it to what a textbook will tell you to, because we've all come from different walks of life, different households. What might be right in this house is not right for this house. So I can only be responsible for how happy she is and how prepared she would be going forward. Yeah. Now, if I've got guilt, that's on me. You know what I'm saying? That's just on me. Like, yeah, but I can't live in it.
Do you have it?
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
Not at the moment. I say the moment because we don't know where life goes.
Yeah, no, I like it. I love that, man.
Do you feel anything?
Only like literally like not about like, oh God, I wish I was still with my ex. I don't give a fuck about all that. Like, it's the little times like where you leave.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I don't want you to go.
Yeah.
You know? You know what I mean? Mad. And like today, I stand on the balcony, I watch you walk away. Like, it sounds like a love story.
No, but it is a love story.
It
is. It's the greatest love story.
The greatest love story ever told.
So,
what would you say? What would you say about like drinking and smoking and stuff? And your son knows you do that, and obviously, I'm guessing you wouldn't want your son doing that when he's growing up.
No, absolutely not. I wouldn't.
And what do you feel like that's setting an example for him? Or do you feel, because you're talking about guilt, so I was just trying to like, you know, bring them together. Do you feel like things that maybe that you do, you know he's gonna want to be, you being a superhero as well, is he gonna try to represent that as he grows up?
So, Jordan,
talk to me.
You've hit the nail on the head, my brother.
Right.
Which is where I'm asking Triz about guilt.
Yeah.
So, through me being a human being, so how managing my emotions, I find it easier to get through a day, with a couple of drinks and spending a little time with Bob Marley and these people here and thinking, you know, TikTok, YouTube, and they don't like certain words, so we don't play them, you know. So baby, don't worry about a thing.
Yes,
yeah. So I do those things in the knowledge that I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
And my son doesn't want me to kill myself. Like I said, Daddy, smoking's bad for you. You shouldn't drink. That's bad for you. Because life's simple then. Because when I was 10, I was never going to smoke. I was never going to drink. That was for dumb people. That's not good for you. Life's black and white. It's easy then. But I'm trying to prepare him for the grey area. So yes, I do feel guilty. Yes, I do think you can say whatever you want to your children. They're only going to do what you do. And I probably don't have the internal strength to stop that self-harming negative behaviour, to portray myself being the best possible human being to my son. But I'm still the best dad I can be.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
So that's why I want him to understand. I don't want him to judge me as a dad Because good dads don't smoke and don't drink because they want to live for as long as they can to spend all their time with their kids.
That's the textbook, right?
But that's what I want to do. But I can't because I'm a human being. So my flaws as a human don't make me a bad dad. And he doesn't grasp that.
Yeah.
And I'm not making excuses for myself. Actually, fucking use the same excuse I just made, same thing I said about my dad, you're not strong enough to. I'm not strong enough. But it's been diluted.
Yeah.
You know?
What about even, you're talking about there's things your father done and you didn't agree with, after you've grown up, you've realised this and you broke the mould. So I guess as long as you're bringing up your son to be able to have his own opinion and break the mould
He's
with
got his own
things,
opinion.
there we go. And he's already telling you he doesn't agree with this and that. So maybe he's just going to grow up and break the mould. As long as he's sort of grown up with that mentality.
He's going to break the mould.
100%.
He's amazing.
That's it.
Can we phone him?
Of course we can. Get him on the phone.
Let's see how we go.
Do we need to put a mic on that?
No, don't worry, I got you.
It's cool.
The reception's no good. That would have been good. It would have worked. It would have worked.
So, Kier, what do you reckon we could do to teach the youth their own self-worth and their own potential?
That's a very good question. I think a lot of understanding your own worth and own potential comes from encouragement and being told that you're good enough. So I'm not sure about you lot. I think if there's been periods as a child where you're told that you can't do this, you know, I think we need to move away from that. So what we move towards is you can do anything you want. You know, that's the importance of that. And forgive me, Triz, you know, I'm a big bulled white man, you know, but we talk about representation. And you would talk about this, you know, I have a lot of I've got a lot of black mates, not a racist. Fucking hell. But like you hear this, like how important it is to tell a black child that they can be president. We heard this with Obama. You know, forgive me, I know this is bullshit rhetoric, but like what I'm talking about is the importance of telling any child they can be anything, so that they understand how to represent themselves. You know, regardless of whatever barriers are in the way.
It is, as you said. I think representation is very important because going back onto the superheroes topic, you got things that's like, you know, Black Panther and all that. Because I remember growing up, the only black superheroes I saw was Shaft and Blade. And I'm not supposed to be watching neither of those films. You know what I'm saying? Shaft is out here sticking man up with objects, and then Blade is out here killing vampires. I was too young to be watching it. But just seeing that's just a little brief example. Now you've got more representation with things from films to television, marketing campaigns and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So
absolutely. So forgive me, I don't mean to interrupt you on that point there, which is what you're saying is you understand the importance then of a lack of representation for young people within your community. And to link that into James' question, which was how do we get children to understand that they can do anything they want to achieve? We have to allow them to have the ability to represent themselves. You know, as individuals, like, and fostering an environment for children to be able to do that is very important as an adult. Whether you're an uncle, whether you're a father, a mother, a stepdad, you know, like my girl has a son, you know, and I'm not perfect, but I hope, you know, you want to do things and make sure that you're able to represent being a man in a positive way.
Definitely.
That's what I would like to do. That's what I think is important, Jay. To come back to your point, you know, I think fostering an environment where children can represent themselves and be proud of themselves in every small achievement that they get helps build them up. I used to tell. I'm not even going to say, like, I don't want to keep going in about blaming people, because one thing, like, you asked me to think about quotes and all of this, and then one thing I thought about a quote is that I heard that you can't blame the devil forever. And I like that, because what that does is it allows you to take accountability. So we should, as adults, regardless of your relationship with a child, take accountability to ensure that we are fostering an environment where they are able to represent themselves and get the most out of themselves.
I felt that.
I like that. That's a very good point you said there, Kier. I think even taking it back to myself as well, in those periods of my life where I wasn't necessarily being told like what I was capable of, and I feel like that knocked my confidence big time. And I managed to get myself out of that, hence why we're all doing what we're doing today. I've had to go through the trials and tribulations of not believing in myself. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure how I done that, but I've eventually done it. What would you say to someone who has no self-belief or confidence and they haven't got the greatest of tools around them? If you don't have the parents telling you you're amazing, or their parents are not maybe around them, or they're just not installing that into them from young, what would you do? Advice would you give to an individual who has no self-belief but really wants to excel in this life?
So I don't think first of all, I'm not sure if I'm in a position to offer advice.
Okay.
But I will talk off my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you struggle to believe in yourself and you have self-doubt and you live in a world where you've been told you can't, don't think that you are defined by your thoughts, because we hear a lot of things in it, like thoughts are vibrations, your thoughts become actions, your actions become your life, etc, etc, etc. And I get that, like, oh yeah, be positive things will happen, that's fine, but tell it to a man or a woman with depression.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it can't work like that.
Yeah.
So what I would say is that you're not the product of your negative thoughts. Allow them to be. Yeah, you're having them for good reason.
Yeah.
You know, you don't feel right. Your body is telling you, your mind is telling you something isn't right. So listen, accept it. It's hard. Suffer. You know, if you want to go to the gym and you want a six-pack, you've got to go and you've got to sit through it and suffer. If you want that mind where you're not being hard on yourself, where you're not living in the beat downs of your past as a child, you're going to have to sit through it a little bit and understand that you're strong enough and you will come through. There is no instructional text or guidebook that can get you through a particular situation. Trust yourself. You can do it. That's what I would say. You can do it. Honestly, you can do it. I'm telling you right now, you can do it. If I can do it, yeah. And look at this. Look at that. The way I don't even have a hairline. The way the light is shining off my head and that, bro. If I can do it, you can do it. Trust me. It's very, very difficult, and it's not easy to accept that you're fucked. You might be fucked. People take it too far. How many people do we know who have killed themselves? Yeah, and I admire them for that, because that's hard. It's not an easy decision to make. People don't do these things off a whim. You've come to a point in your life. So accept your hard thoughts, accept they're part of you, and be them. Be with it. Let it help produce your identity as a flawed human being, and be open, be honest, and talk to your friends, talk to your family, you know, because it doesn't make you bad. It doesn't make you bad.
So would you say, like, sorry, say somebody is suffering from something, how would you encourage them to go and talk to somebody? Because obviously at the time they might not feel they are going through something, but they are going through something.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
And I think it's important that we're clear about what's something. What is something?
Anything in general, because like as we was talking on previous shows before, it's. I'll use me as an example because obviously it's a good reference. When I had something, things weren't going well, so I thought I was going to be doing football, but then you know how clubs are, and if like this doesn't work out. So I'm feeling a bit rocky with that, because you're so sure when you're a kid of what you're going to do.
Absolutely.
And then you get the rejections and the letdowns or not the right opportunities. So that carried on. And then obviously uni was going to be finished and stuff, and I'm just out here. And I started doing this freestyling thing, and I'm going through life with the friends I've got. We've all got little bits and bobs that's happened with us. Something probably significant that happened at the time, which I did identify, a breakup or anything like that. It's just all crumbling. But now I'm turning to the fun of everything, but I'm spiraling. So like I'm doing the drink, and then but what I'm having is I'm using the drink when we're going out. So I need to be out all the time. So I'm using these excuses, but then detrimental things are happening as I go along. So, I mean, with my situation, as I said, my daughter's situation, like she came and then I was just like, man, we've got to fix up. So that was my marker of doing it. But say somebody's going through something, what they've lost or, just basically spiraling. And they now they know they're in a low place, but they need to bring themselves up. What kind of like, well, not advice, but kind of markers could you say, all right, cool, let's check this out?
Yeah, nah, Triz, that is a really, really good question. I think what I would suggest to people is that they understand that this will pass.
Yeah.
I've seen I don't know if you've seen it, it's called the Actors Round Table, you know, and you have particular actors sitting around talking about experiences. And I saw one with Tom Hanks, and he's the star of my favourite film ever, which is Forrest Gump. Yeah. And he said, this too shall pass. So whether you're up or whether you're down, this too shall pass. And I understand that we might not always feel that we have the strength to get through what we're going through now. But if you go to sleep tonight, you'll probably wake up tomorrow. So keep going. Yeah. Keep going.
That's good.
So, Kier, being the man you are today and the things you've been through, and also working within the mental health sector, have you seen any sort of behavioural patterns or personality traits like consistently coming up as you're dealing with people suffering with their mental health?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question, Jay. I like, see, these guys come prepared, you know. That's why Jay knows me. So it's funny you asked that. Yes, I do work in mental health. Obviously, when I'm online or doing anything else, I say to people, like, I'm a rapper, this is what I do. But you know me personally, you know me for a long time. I've got 21 years experience working in mental health. I won't talk about my job title or anything I do within that. I could answer your question in two ways. And the first way would be, yes, clearly, there are definite and definitive patterns in terms of behaviour with regards to a particular diagnosis of mental health. Some people suffering from something are going to act in a particular way. But to sort of move away from that and then come back to it as me and you, like within the mandem, are there things that lend towards people going down a path where they're not going to be able to be in control anymore? And definitely yes. So the first thing would be like stress, your environment. Mm-hmm. You know, how does your body feel? You know, are you arguing with people all the time? Are you involved in toxic relationships? Are you stressed out about work, about getting home on time, about your fucking commute and all of these things? Because all of those stress levels, they release something called cortisol within your body. That cortisol release within your body is crazy, you know? When you're stressed and you're upset and you're anxious, like it releases a hormone in your body that it comes from that fight or flight, you know what I mean? And I think if you suffer from things like depression, from anxiety and you're going to be having to sit there and battle that feeling of wanting to flight, but you can't run, and that feeling of wanting to fight, but you can't fight. So your heart just pounds away like that. Boom, 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 boom. So
with that ties into, you know, people basically misdiagnosing themselves with it. Is there like distinguishing characteristics where you could literally know that, or you know?
No, do you know what I would do? Yeah, and I think it's important for me to say this because you can go on Google and type in how you feel physically or emotionally and get a definitive response. But mental health care, mental health diagnosis, and how you move forward with that as an individual is definitely based around like an individual care plan. It's about individuality, because you might have one man, let's say, forgive me, I do it because I see the disparity. So I'm gonna use racial stigmas. So you might have a rich white boy, 18, he lives in a 7-bedroom house in Surrey with his mum and his dad, and he suffers from schizophrenia, and they're able to manage that within the household, even though his symptoms are really strong. And let's say, for instance, this guy's 5'7", his schizophrenic symptoms dictate that he believes he has to brush his teeth 7 times a day, and he hears voices telling him that the sheep in his bedroom are talking to him. Or you've got a 6'4" black man, from Streatham, whose voices are telling him that he needs to kill himself in order to save humanity. And now you've got a 6'4" black guy standing on the middle of a bridge somewhere going, I'm not So we're viewing these people very, very differently, even though they're suffering from the same thing. There you go, Triz.
Yeah.
They're suffering from the same thing. So I think it's about understanding that you can come out here with a label, that's fine, but your label don't define you. So if we're empathetic and we're kind and we're nice human beings, we're able to draw away the label. I'm a rapper. We're able to draw away the label. You know what I mean? Even if they're unstable. Like Cain did Abel. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I've answered you guys' question. I've gone off a bit of a tangent.
No,
but I'm passionate about that.
Yeah.
That we need to identify what an individual needs, as opposed to how to treat a mental health disorder.
Yeah.
So what does this person need?
Okay.
Even if it's hard for you to give it to them.
Yeah.
So would you say that we have the facilities for that? Do you feel like our system and the mental health sector, do we deliver that for that individual? Do you feel like, obviously there could be improvements in anything we do, but where do we stand with that? Obviously from the experience you've got, do you think someone coming with a mental health issue, do they get what they deserve? I know that's a matter of opinion.
But in this country?
In this country.
So, Jay, I'll be honest with you, I look at that question globally as opposed to nationally.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think sometimes we need to recognize how lucky we are.
Yes.
Because let's say, for instance, one of us was to have a lapse in our mental health to the point that we needed hospitalization, we would be hospitalized at no cost. We would be given medicine. We would have care, 24-hour care provided to us. Yeah, whether or not that care was good, that's something else. But you know, let's say, for instance, you're in Sierra Leone and you're suffering from schizophrenia. Then what? Then what do you get? So how do I compare what private care is to National Health Service care in this country, or do I compare National Health Service care in this country, to man in Syria or Sierra Leone, or you know what I mean? Forgive me, guy, bro.
Well, even in America, unless you're paying for your...
America is a prime example. It's a prime example, and Trump, you can't say particular words, you know what I mean? His mum are looking for Obamacare, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. And again, these white people made it a fucking race issue. Boring.
Yeah.
So what do you think we could do to better the mental health system, like globally? Like, is there something we could, do you feel like, is obviously you're within the game, I know you think about it, like, you're very conscious of what you're doing and the world and people. Have you ever thought of like what we could do to try?
Absolutely. I think we could learn heavily from particular communities. So I would point towards communities like the Punjabi community, the Somali community, just for two in particular. Let's just pause on those two, because I'm not going to go out there. But what you're looking at is generational care. People live in the same house. Innit? You know what I mean? You've got great grandparents living in the same house as great grandchildren. You've got brothers all staying there together. You know, and they bring their wealth in Like they bring all of their care and attention into their family. So that's something I think that we could do to improve is actually, instead of taking apart shit that we think we don't like, learn from particular cultures that actually are doing very, very positive things and looking after their own. And and if you're looking after your own, you're looking after your people, them around you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely. Great. Yeah. So you see yourself as a family member and you look after your family, right? Cool. I'll extend that. I see myself as your friend, as you man's friend. Yeah. I extend that. That's how we go. I see myself as a human being. How I'm now able to extend that kindness, that understanding and empathy to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So that's where it is.
Do you think they should bring it into the educational sector as well, like to make children understand certain pointers? Because obviously, well, my one's going into high school now, so well, she's in high school, I should say, and I've known, well, statistics. You'll probably be able to share a lot more information on that, but it's a very tricky time to navigate through high school, being in this group. Are you this type of person? If the group wants to do this, but you don't really want to do it now, you don't want to say no.
Triz, forgive me. Yeah, I'm gonna sling this back at you, and I might ask you a difficult question.
Yeah, my answer might be wrong.
The energy's clean, beautiful. So, do you think your daughter knows how many wives Henry VIII had?
Yeah, probably,
innit? Yeah.
Definitely.
Do you think she knows when World War II started and ended?
Yeah, all of
All right,
these.
let me ask. Okay, can we Google the answer to those questions right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, done. Why the fuck are we memorizing this shit? Does she know how to do taxes? Does she know how to handle toxic or abusive human beings in life? Does she know what to do? Forgive me, I'm not saying your daughter, but do young women know what to do if they become pregnant at 14? But who gives a shit about what fucking year World War I started or how many wives Henry VIII had? The entire educational system needs to be changed.
Yeah, that's the thing. I felt when it comes to education, it's outdated, because I've been saying the same thing for ages. Like with my little one, she basically got her own bank account. She knows if she wants to get something, she has to come up with something creatively to buy, sell, whatever.
Good.
Because I feel like in
You're
previous
a good dad.
jobs I had, this is the funny thing. It's like I had a good upbringing and stuff. But then when she came, those little important bits of information of, balancing your books, doing all of this and stuff like that, because I had my little one fairly young, it felt like one big shove off the cliff. And I was just like, oh my God, I had to go back to what my parents were doing to, and everything that was in school, it wasn't so fundamental. I mean, now they say, if you go to places where they're helping people develop to get into the jobs and all of that, something like a job center or something, they start telling them they got to learn fundamental skills. But the fundamental skills, it's only GCSE, maths and English. I don't see anything that's gonna be useful.
These are government prescribed skills, innit? Maths, English, science. What's your creativity like? How's your drama? How empathetic are you? What's your life experience? Some children are carers, fam. Some children are carers for disabled parents, or siblings, or it's not a joke. Do you think this young human being gives a shit about fucking pyramids?
Yeah.
when they're out here caring for somebody, they're 11 years old and bringing home dinner to their mother in a wheelchair.
So what kind of subjects would you feel would be important around the
Again, I'm not the man with the answers, but I can tell you what I can see is the problems.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I tell you what, if you want to work in banking, and you want to be a financial advisor, you better be good at maths. That's it. If you want to be an English teacher, you better know the difference between a verb and a fucking analogy or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, good lord.
Adjective.
Let him so adjective. No.
Go.
That's a describing word.
Yeah.
No, but you better know the difference.
Nah, definitely.
You know what I mean? So, it's painful to me that these poor little people are just are judged so constantly.
So what's your opinion on, for instance, obviously that's what they're teaching us in the schools, but what about the kids themselves suffering with like ADHD, autism and stuff, and sometimes we don't even recognize it because it's like maybe a mild form, and we're all like shoved into one classroom and expected to perform in a certain way when everyone's different. What's your opinion on that?
Well, it's quite simple, isn't it? I suppose we've all heard the same thing, which is, you know, you put a monkey and a fish in a classroom, and you give them a test, and the test is to climb the tree. Who wins?
Yeah.
Of course. So do you think that we should be tapping in more to the youth and their like creative sides? Because obviously the ones that are struggling academically with like say that the original maths, English tests and stuff, do you think there should be something else there to be tapping into their creative side? Because 9 times out of 10, the kids that struggle and go down the other route and maybe get themselves into certain schools where they're considered that they're just basically not good enough.
Yeah, they're
for these
unable
schools.
to manage them. That's what it is.
Yeah, and do you feel like, but 9 times out of 10, later on in life, they excel in other things like either a trade or football, for instance, like you were saying. Do you think we could be helping it from the youth younger, tapping in to that creative side? What's your opinions on that?
Definitely. We like I said before, all we have to do is support individuality with children, and that's the important thing. So to let them know that what they are is okay. You know, and I think that's it, because we can talk about the education system, we can talk about the boxes that we are all put in from birth, you know, and let all of that go. But as parents, how do we promote individualism within our little human beings? Because that's what they are. Because I have to accept that my son is my son and will be my son, my baby, for 18 years. And then after that, hopefully he's got another 70. But he's got another 70 to 80 years to live as his own man.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's going to be himself for a lot longer than he's my child. So I hope we can prepare our children for that, to be grown up. You know, no one cares about Henry VIII. You know what I mean? How do you deal with difficult situations?
The curriculum.
Not the curriculum.
It has to change. I think, as you said, more life skills, more.
I'd rather my son run his own roofing industry business than have a degree in something that he just held and had a normal job.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
No.
So it's coming away from that conversation there for a minute and go back to yourself. Like, so I've known you for a long time, Kier. Obviously, okay, let me go back to that. So coming away from that conversation and diving back into yourself a little bit, Kier. Obviously, I've known you for a long time now, and it's always intrigued me that you've had this almost I don't give a care in the world mentality, but at the same time, you're so passionate about everything you talk about. So I always think, like, what must have Kier gone through to become the man you are today? Is there anything significant that you can think of in your life that's made you the man you are today?
I would say, Jay, probably the only thing that makes me the man I am today is the suffering I put myself through. So, how I judge myself, how critical I am all the time of every thought I have, every mistake I make, every wrong foot I place. Like, that's what makes me. And I think that's what drives my empathy as well. Because I know it's difficult to be someone who doesn't feel like they're doing good enough or well enough in anything. You know, like just even in basic conversation, I'll go home and I'll analyze everything over and over and over again.
So would you say that you still have a lot of self-doubt within yourself?
Massive amount.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah, massive amount.
And what are you working on that at the moment? Is that something you're working on?
I think it's something I try to work on.
Yeah.
And sort of coming back to your point, Triz, it's something that I've accepted. As me as an individual, I'm just hypercritical of myself. And so again, my thoughts don't define me. Because just the way I say good morning to someone might trigger, oh God, you shouldn't have said that, you shouldn't have done it that way, da da da. So I try to just accept myself as I am, you know, and not worry too much about that hypercritical voice that's going on in the background there. That's fine. I can hear that. That's wash now. Okay. That's wassa.
Okay.
Could you identify when you got from knowing that's what you do, like if there's anything probably significant or anything where you say to yourself, all right, cool, because I don't want that to happen to me again, and then it developed into that?
Yeah, 100%. Do you know what, actually, I really can. And it might seem trivial to some people, but I can remember sitting in the back of the car and I told my dad and my stepmom at the time, his ex-wife, I wanted to be a singer. And they bust up.
And that's what literally...
Wow.
And that was a point in my life where I thought, am I an idiot? And I'd never thought that before.
Yeah.
Never thought that about myself before.
And
you know, I was a confident little boy.
Yeah.
I could have been Superman. But, you know, they laughed at me. And that was a turning point.
And it goes into relation with what you were saying about, you know, let the kids have those options and let them be able to just express themselves creatively. You still found a way, because obviously you're an artist and a very good one at that, plug.
Well, thank you, my brother. Thank you.
But no, I'm being serious. You actually are. You're very creative. Where do you feel like it ties up to where you've accepted that's what you do? So, you know, like, look, I'm not going to penalise myself for over-analysing. This is just who I am. I just do this. And then where does it match with the craft of you doing music? Because, as you said, you've identified you as in a car. You wanted to be a singer. Even if they laughed at the time and they didn't know the damage it might have caused with everything like that. How long was you being... whereabouts were you able to say to yourself, you know what, I do music. I have a voice and I'm going to use it and I'm going to do this thing. Could you see where you identified it from?
So what that was about being able to express myself.
Okay.
Definitely. And being able to write something down and make it sound good. You know, make it sound cool. So it's difficult to say to somebody, I don't feel like I want to live anymore. You know, I'm really struggling with that. And then to sit down and have that conversation, you know what I mean? But it's easy to write, I'm sick of this shit, man, it's dread. Some days, man, I wish I was dead. But bang. Then everyone can hear that and they go, yeah, I feel you, man. But you can't sit down and say that with a person. So I think that's where the music came in with that way of thinking for me, which was not just, it's not about an ability to express yourself and how you feel, but you can feel understood. It becomes relatable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So so as we was talking, you obviously you broke out of the fears of not being classed as a singer. You become an artist, and do you know when, as we said before, like when you accepted, okay, I want to put this out to people. So was it something that happened by accident, or like you just had your little personal connection?
Nah,
and then it just happened, or you said...
No, not at all. I've had my friends around me for years. You know, I've always rapped, made music, done whatever. I said I wanted to be a singer. Just so you know, I cannot sing. Yeah, but I thought I could. But anyway, yeah. So I've always rapped. Like you can ask Jay.
You can sing it. I've heard your tracks. They're coming. It's coming, people. Don't worry, it's coming. He's got bangers on the way. Yeah. You heard it here first, yo. You're gonna see it at the end of the show as well.
His energy's clean. my vocals aren't. But like, I found it a good way to allow people into what I'm thinking.
Okay.
That's how I use the music. Is to allow you into my world for a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to come back to that, but I've got a question for you. You mentioned when you was younger and you was expressing that you wanted to be a singer. and you got laughed at, and that triggered you to excel in what you wanted to do. Am I right? That was a turning point?
No, it didn't trigger me to excel.
Okay, so that pushed you...
It made me not believe in my own dream.
Okay. I'm just trying to see where the powers are at with this, because me growing up as well, I had a period in my life where I was sort of told that, no, you can't do that, or I didn't get pushed.
Who told you that?
Just people around me. The people around me at the time, not the best of people, family members, maybe.
I see your walls, you know.
Huh?
Nah, just people around me.
Yeah, so I had like maybe certain family members and friends that didn't really push me to be the man, didn't really show me my true potential. And I feel like, yes, I went down and then had no self-belief, and I had many years of like not believing in myself, feeling like I couldn't do things. And it sounds like it was similar for yourself after like somebody saying you can't do that, or laughing at you, for instance. And then we rise. Do you think we needed that? Do you think we needed that, like someone knocking you and saying you can't do that, go down to accelerate, instead of someone saying, okay.
I think that it's clear to see that, you know, from having a bunch of people tell certain people that they're not good enough to be out there for the rest of the world, that right now we're searching the camera.
Yep.
You know?
Exactly.
So I'm glad they laughed.
Yeah.
Because today I look for the camera. You know, I could be anywhere. People have been taking pictures of someone else. My immediate thought is, why aren't they taking pictures of me?
Yeah.
Come for me.
And see that self-confidence and self-belief now, like I know within yourself and everyone in this room right now, we've all probably been through similar situations what we're talking about. And yeah, we've probably gone down, but we have accelerated up a lot higher.
Absolutely.
Because of them, you know, that self-doubt that we
massively
installed into us.
So what, just to piggyback on that, you would say that would be because you're not proving a point, you just don't want to feel like that person can laugh at you again.
I don't know what
they just have that
I think what we're trying to do is attach a conscious narrative, to something that has affected your subconscious, and you can't. They don't run. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, people laughed at me, so I don't want to be laughed at again. Cool, that makes sense. Yeah, but when you got laughed at, and you went home, and it wasn't about people laughing at you. It was about how you felt about being laughed at.
Yeah.
What did that do to you, little boy? How did that change your mind, little boy? You know what I mean? How did that make you become a man, little boy? How does that affect you? You know what I mean? So it's that. So now, I drive for the camera.
Yeah.
I drive for the attention. It's probably a little bit personality disordered.
Yeah.
Bit weird. You know what I mean? Because most people fucking don't want it, do they? Oh, I'm not sure about. Most people don't like, having their birthday song sung to them in a restaurant. They don't want attention. They don't want it. I do.
A couple of people.
Right, fuck it. Yeah. And that's where it's driven from.
Yeah.
Give it to me because I can take it. I can have it. I
So-
want you to hear.
Do you think, because that's powerful, like how you are now, and like spreading all your wisdom to the people through your music, through day-to-day speaking to, like, is powerful. Would you, like, if you didn't go through what you've been through and been told you can't do this or been laughed at, you wouldn't be the man you are today. So it's like, do you think? But then we're trying to push now, not to give any kids self-doubt and trying to push self-belief. Do you feel like that's going to have a negative effect on us or on the kids? Can you see what I'm saying? Like, we've excelled from our...
I tell you what, I would say try not to push self-doubt is like asking the sun not to burn because we don't want the ice caps to melt. That can't run.
Yes.
What we have to do is find the middle ground. You're going to have self-doubt. Yeah? That shit's going to bun and it's going to melt everything you believe you are. But accept it. Accept that they're thoughts. Accept that it's intrusive. Accept that it comes with the territory. You know? And how do we utilize that as opposed to blocking it off and stopping it? Because you can't stop it.
Because it's a part of life.
It's a part of life. It's a part of us as who we are, as self-doubting, flawed human beings, young men with baggage. It's fine.
Yeah.
Show me one that ain't. Show me one that's not.
So what, in essence, build up a form of resilience.
Yeah.
As you said, using the strength of, if you got.
I think understanding is a better word than resilience, because some people don't make it, and when they don't, I feel like when we use words like resilience, it means they weren't strong enough.
Okay.
But I respect a man that battled suicidal thoughts for 10 years and then did it. Because for 10 years of that's a graft, fam. That's hard work. You can't say that's not pertinent to this individual's life. It's a massive part of who they are. Yeah.
Have you experienced anything to do with like mental health, people around you suffering mental health, or like even like things like suicide and stuff? Have you got experience from this?
Yeah, I've got a lot of experience with that, to be honest with you, Jay.
Yeah.
There's questions. My dad's dad was found dead in a bath in a mental health hospital. My granddad. My dad's brother recently committed suicide. My father himself continually threatened suicide, texts me at 3 a.m. in the morning, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, still hasn't. And myself, I battle, I have something called suicidal ideation. So I obsess over suicidal thoughts. I don't want to die. I want to live forever. I want to live forever with my son. Telling you, I don't want to die. But I probably think about killing myself 25, 30, 40 times a day. Yeah, that's a battle. It's a battle. Mental. I've been to hospital a couple of times, as you know. I've been admitted to hospital a couple of times because you get close, because it's hard. But luckily, my son saved me. Not from my thoughts, but from how I viewed myself, even though I'm having those thoughts. Because right now, like I said before, I'm not defined by my thoughts. I'm defined now by my child. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's tough, very, very tough. I've worked in mental health, like I said, for a very long time, and I have a lot of experience dealing with people who suffer from serious mental health problems to the point that it has made them take their own life, and I've been there too.
Yeah.
Was you struggling before with your mental health before you went into that sector, or was it? Before, yeah,
from young, yeah.
From young.
I think even 14, 15.
Yeah.
My mum used to come to the school and used to try and talk to them about my mental health. But I don't think that was anything to do with my mental health.
Yeah.
I think that's my personality.
Okay.
You teachers, you lot are pricks. I'm not standing for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you mentioned that, so you've been battling with that in the background for a while, for most of your life, you said, at least half of your life.
But more than half.
Is there anything in particular that you feel gets you in these sort of thoughts and that sort of way of thinking?
I would say more so like just normal things in life people may encounter, difficulties with bills or something you got to do or this and that and quite often my go-to thought is you're better off dead than dealing with this shit. So it's difficult to explain. It's very difficult because I sound like I want attention and I need help, and I don't. I'm hella used to this. This is not a problem for me. It's just the way I operate. You know what I mean? So, you go out, for instance, and everyone has fun or something, and then something negative happens, or you fall over. You fall over in the bar. Yeah? You fall over in the bar and everyone sees you fall over. Yeah? When I wake up the next day, I'd rather die than suffer living through that event again. As you fell over, who cares? I'd rather and that would fuck me for a few days. It's mad.
Is that because of the embarrassment of falling over, or?
No, it's not. It's About the inability to be perfect.
Okay.
So would you say you put a lot of
Pressure on myself.
on yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that I can't be perfect leads me to feel guilty as a dad because my son, when he grows up, will see me as an imperfect father. But I hope he understands that being imperfect makes me a human being.
So so two questions, like, as you said, you know, with family members, and you know, you mentioned males. Is it something that you have thought to yourself about, you know, your son having anything? Is there anything that you overthought about if he would have those thoughts and what, you know, you could do?
Yeah.
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 So,
All the time.
so with that being said though, is it a thing where you've been, well, from what we know and that you've grown up with Jay and stuff, you've found, I wouldn't call it like like a managing system for you to make. Is that perfection level? Is it something that you visualize daily with things, or is it something like you've seen before and that was your example of what perfect may be? So now you've come to understand imperfection is a version of perfection in a sense, if that makes sense.
To an extent, I think that's a good point. I think, like we said, going back to how we talk to children and their acceptance of themselves, imperfection is definite.
Yeah.
And you will be imperfect. So let's try to judge each other off those standards. You know what I mean? As opposed to judging ourselves off our own, because I can guarantee you man are far less hard on me than I am on myself. So how can I promote that my own self-kindness and self-worth that you man look at me with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how do I give that to my kid?
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Well,
I wish I did.
You've been figuring it out so far.
Trying.
As you said, it's like from how you've expressed yourself and the bond you have with him. That's, correct me if I'm wrong, that feels like when you were saying to yourself, okay, my dad's not a hero. Is that the mark that you're worried about, that your son may think about you later on, and that's why you are how you are today, because of what's happened with that?
Yes. That's not why I am how I am today. It's a massive factor in my insecurity and inadequacy in life and judging myself. The answer is yes.
Okay. So, Kier, I appreciate that. Obviously, you've shared with us that you do struggle with your mental health, and I appreciate that you've spoke to us about this as well. But obviously, with what we're doing here, at Clean Energy, we're trying to help as many people as possible suffering with mental health. And obviously, you say you've had your fair share of this as well. And working within that sector, do you feel like there is something that could help that you're not getting supported with at the moment? Is there something like significant that you think we could like implement as a team, culture, world generally? Like, is there something that, what would you say?
I think we need to be very careful in terms of defining feeling bad and suffering from a mental health issue. I hear a lot of stuff on the internet now about, get the fuck up, go and do this, go and drive. If you feel sad, you're gonna be sad. Great, then you've never suffered from depression, because you could be a multi-millionaire, you could have everything ever set up for you and still feel like you're not worthy of your next meal. That's depression. So I would say let's stop throwing terms around like, oh, I'm OCD. No, you're not. You like to be clean and tidy. Oh, I'm depressed. No, you're not. You're sad because you've had a bereavement. That's real. That's okay. Yeah? Like, these the way in which we throw these clinical definitions around is dangerous, because for people who are really suffering from certain things, they're not able to get themselves out of that through, let's say, someone who is depressed. Yeah, they can't just stop being sad. This isn't about sadness. You know, this is a physical, emotional, mental thing. This is not about circumstance. So that would be my thing.
Yeah. No,
that's a real gem for them.
No, trust me, that hits the nail on the head. You know, because everybody has to have that kind of thing that, you know, just changing the labels makes a huge difference, as you said, because it doesn't keep you contained in a box. It's something that you can literally manage and move forward with and stuff like that. And talking about things, you know, managing with things like that. Well, you're an artist, so we got to get into some music at least. So with your passion, I would say, let us know and understand how music has helped your life on that forefront.
Wow, how music has helped my life. So listening to music helps me enormously. I love listening to music, anything at all. You know, I think quite often, you know, we're searching for this narrative of the artistic, depressed genius who is expressing himself through whatever their art is. I don't think I'm that. I think what I'm able to do is say how I feel in a bar far easier than in an actual conversation where someone wants me to be proper honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it might not come across like that today. Like, I've come here, I'm being asked direct questions, I'm gonna give direct answers. But I mean in life, like, how do you tell your mum or your sister or your child that you're suffering? You can't. Like, you want to keep driving, you want to go on. But you know, if they hear a song called something like Upside Down, you know, turn my frown upside down, they can hear, I want my frown turned upside down.
Yeah.
So it's more that for me.
Yeah. So you feel like the melodies and just the art of music helps translate emotions, is poetic, is, you know.
It always does, Triz, it always does. It always does, but I think, like, if I was to think about it from an actual vocal, lyrical point, I'm able to say how I feel and make it sound good.
Okay.
Very good.
As opposed to make it sound like I'm suffering.
Yeah.
People go, oh, do you know what, Kit? Hey, bruv, that bar's sick. But if I said it to them without it rhyming and without a particular tone of voice and without a beat, they might struggle to do all that.
Yeah. So do you think that would affect, say somebody didn't like the bar, or they said like, oh, I don't know, would that actually affect the yourself in the way of I'm talking about it, or where can you have that cut off of like, I'm not really worried about the opinion of that, I'm talking my truth and I know you can hear me, whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter, I've got it off my chest. That doesn't me at all. Like, I've been in rooms and halls and shows and shit, I've rapped in front of hundreds, potentially thousands of people, and there's going to be people that don't like it. That's your business. Yeah, okay.
I'd rather leave being authentic to myself. That would give me less anxiety than me going on stage and trying to make someone else happy.
Yeah.
You know
So you
what I
think
mean?
that might have a relation with certain artists where if they have like a mental block or something, like a writer's block or something, and they're making music that they want to make, but the sales ain't reflecting that, do you think?
Yeah, fuck
they
the
don't really
sales.
care about that?
No. If you want to sell something, go and be a milkman.
Yeah.
If you like music, make music.
Yeah.
If you love yourself, be honest with your music. If you hate yourself, be honest with your music. It will help you love yourself.
Do you, going back to the self-doubt we were talking about, do you have any self-doubt within your music?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Every single time I go into the studio, into the booth, every video I make, every camera angle, every single line I've constructed, I am my own worst critic. I take that apart, like, as someone who don't like me. Like, honestly, like, that I have mad amounts of self-doubt. Mad. I'm so insecure. I'd rather not. but I want to.
Do you think that has an effect on the process of you making your music? Obviously, the final product, as we all know, you're an amazing artist, and the product is bang on every time, bar by bar. Would you say the self-doubt has had an effect on the process, and that's why maybe it is so in the pocket every time?
I've never thought of it like that, actually. Never thought of it like that. Potentially, yeah. Maybe. Maybe my striving to be perceived as perfect is helping me ensure that I've got a good end product. I'm not perfect. But maybe I think I'm glad you asked me that question, Jay. I've never thought about that. Powerful stuff.
Would you say as well, going back to the self-doubt, do you have that, for instance, I know you mentioned that you've been on stage in front of hundreds, potentially thousands of people. Do you have that self-doubt in yourself when you're about to step on the stage? Or do you believe in what you're about to do?
I always know I can do it. I believe in myself. Yes.
Do you get nervous?
Yeah, of course I do.
You get nervous?
Yeah.
Do you know why I say that? Because obviously, knowing you don't come across as you get nervous. You do come across like you've got a lot of confidence. So like for someone to hear that you do suffer with like self-doubt and stuff, or should I say you do self-doubt yourself sometimes.
Yeah, but that's because I'm talking all the time, Jay.
Yeah.
So
okay.
See the liquor Jack Russell, yeah, that's yapping. Yeah, but there's a Doberman in the corner.
Yeah,
sitting there saying nothing.
Yeah.
Man, that's why.
Okay.
So I can walk into a room and the first thing I think is, I don't want anyone to think that I'm doubting myself in the way that I am. So I'll take over the room.
Yeah.
Okay. So that I'm in control now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
It's a defense mechanism. Yeah. Big talker.
Do you think that's where you making music stem from then?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Definitely.
Like giving yourself a voice.
Yeah.
Really? I feel you.
But that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's a voice. Yeah. Listen to me.
Yeah.
I haven't been heard.
Yeah. That's interesting.
That's good. So like, as you said, it's like, it's for your voice. We got like the drill era now and everything like that. How do you think that affects the generation coming? And do you feel like in relation to what you said, like it's their voice, how do you think it affects their...
I think drill artists are explaining where they have come from. I think a lot of them need to take a little bit more responsibility in terms of what they're selling. You know, as should I. You know, I could be out here talking about all the things that are difficult in my life. So drill, like it's hard because people are trying to stab you and kill you. I get that, but it becomes a glorification to an extent for me. Bro, who am I? You know, I can't criticize a particular scene. I just think, just be mindful, innit? Just be wary. You know, no one's disproving or saying that your reality is not your reality. But I'm never gonna glorify the pain I've been through when I put that in a bar. Yeah. Because it hurts. Yeah. Because I want you to know. But so like drill, sometimes I just feel like they're like, because I don't want anybody. You got to stab someone.
Yeah. I don't want anybody to think we're picking on that particular genre anyway. But it's because it's the youngest form at the moment, and obviously hip hop was starting from a certain place. We had garage, we had grime, even the funky house.
Drill beats are the best beats. Like if you go on YouTube now, type in like violin type drill beat, you're gonna get the hardest beats. Like, they're the ones.
Yeah, because it's
my latest release came off me typing that in. I found a producer in Greece. Bosh.
Do you find yourself? I know you were saying about like being more conscious, like artists to be more conscious of what they're actually putting out there. Are you conscious when you're writing your music, in terms of maybe your son listening?
Not at the time. Not when I'm writing it.
Really?
Yeah, so, when I play it back.
So you write what you feel no matter what.
No matter what.
And then you realise once you put this one, maybe, would you let your son listen to all your music?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So even if you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have let him heard that, or do you ever get that feeling?
Yeah, all the time.
Do you? Yeah. And how do you, once you've gone through that situation, how do you feel?
Again, I still haven't told him Santa's not real. because I'm still trying to deal with the fact that your dad's not a superhero. So I know that sounds like bullshit, but it's a similar concept. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather him know who I am.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'd rather him know who I am sooner, so that we can have that conversation. And actually, that's selfish of me, because part of that is taking away a little bit of his innocence.
But do you feel like, as you said with the music, that's your voice of thing? Do you think subconsciously that's a way of you talking to him, because obviously he's attached to the music?
Nah, because I've been saying the same thing in my bars and my music before he was born.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna hide it from him.
Yeah.
When he listens to your music, does he ever pick up things you say and then ask you about it?
My son knows all the words to all my songs.
I love it. #1 supporter.
Absolutely.
Love that.
I'm his #1 supporter, bro.
Yeah.
100%.
Does he pick you up on lyrics and that, or is it more of a wow, my dad's an artist?
Yeah, sometimes, but I think, you know, we don't give them enough credit either. He's a lot smarter than I would give him credit for.
Okay.
So he will quite happily sit there in the knowledge that he knows something, and he won't say nothing, because to be my little baby is easier for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good, because, you know, as we talk about what kids hear and what they say and do in the playground is a major thing, because they could be listening, like Mullet one, she's listening to music all the time and whatever. But sometimes I feel like, I don't know if it's conscious of what they're saying when they're singing it, but then it somehow translates in the playground when, you know, you've got your favourite artists, you've got your rappers, you've got your grime artists, your drill artists, and your R&B artists, like, you know, developing and listening to songs and feeling emotional with it. So have you been conscious of, when he goes to school, like if he's bringing, you know, the lyrics and everything into the playground and they share things?
Oh yeah, I've been to a birthday party.
Yeah.
My son's friend's 7th birthday party, and I was sitting in this other person's yard. You know, this parent's house, and we were all sitting in the back garden and that. And then I could hear something playing from the front room, and there's 30 kids in there, you know. And all I heard was, "We never had it easy, you know. Big spliff, 2 pints, I'm a geezer, you know." I had to run into the front room, and this kid's birthday party. I was like, "Turn that off, son!" Because my boy's got my song playing on YouTube, and all the kids are there, but they don't know that I'm saying, "Big spliff, 2 pints, I'm a geezer, and I fuck love ya." Like, but they were there. Oh God, it was a bit embarrassing, but.
So
I love it.
Because obviously, I don't know, it's weird, obviously I'm a parent as well, but with that, obviously, you know, he's proud of your music and
he's proud, love
so
it.
if say it's music from other than yourself, and he was to be saying the words and the rhymes, are you, like, do you sometimes say to yourself, how am I gonna, I don't want him to pick up if somebody's talking about a shank and a hammer and he's gonna go outside and he thinks that's kind of the norm, because dad does the music as well and all of that. How have you been able to navigate the reality from fiction kind of thing?
In a simple sentence, you're you, you're not me. That's it.
For just him to just live his truth.
Just you live you.
Yeah.
You might hear me be and say certain things, but that's not you. You know, like at bedtime, me and you, we lie down together, we cuddle, we go sleep. When you wake up, you get breakfast in bed. You know what I mean? Like, I love you. You're not me.
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
You think it'd be difficult if he says to you one day that I want to be just like you?
I tell him you're a fucking idiot. You've never listened to a word I said. That's it. No.
Yeah.
And that's what I keep trying to say is, be you. You be you. I'll be me. Yeah. I'm not perfect. I know you think I'm a hero. I don't say this to him in as many words, but I'm leading up to it. I know I'm your hero.
Yeah.
But I'm not for hero worshipping.
Yeah.
I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I am now a 7-year-old's perfect father.
Yeah.
But I am a million miles away from being a perfect man.
Yeah.
So don't use me as a barometer of a man. Use me as a barometer of a father.
Yeah.
Because I love you.
Yeah. Nice.
So, Kier, I was listening to your music, as I always do anyway,
Yeah.
and I was listening to is it the 𝐓𝐡𝐞 Freestyle?
Yeah.
And I know that's it. Some crazy flows on there, bro. Crazy. But I come across a bar, and you said, "I'm just out here unmedicated."
When the shit that I suffer with is lethal.
Yes.
Climb to the top of the church steeple and jump.
Some weeks I feel weak and feeble. I'm just out here unmedicated. Man, the shit that I suffer with's lethal. Climb to the top of the church steeple and jump. No gym, but I'm way too pumped.
Yeah, so the shit that I suffer with is lethal. Imagine having a son, having a child, having a job, a car, a yard, a loving family, all the best things in life. And, you know, you have these thoughts where you're not good enough. Go on, just get rid of it now. You're going to die anyway. Go and kill yourself today. Don't worry, don't wait, don't suffer. Go and do it today. So 15, 16, 17 times a day. That's mental.
Yeah.
That's proper. That's suffering. That's hard work. You know, like to look at. I look at the top of a door and think, oh, you know, you could hang yourself from that, or a door handle. You could tie something around that, dude. That's really, really tough. Like, so yes, the shit that I suffer with is lethal. Some days I feel like climbing to the top of the church steeple and jumping. And again, like coming back to like the bars, I say things like church steeple because it becomes cinematic then, doesn't it? You know, it's far more cinematic to jump off the top of a church than it is to jump from a tower block. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it adds a certain sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say like emotion, but more like a spirituality to it. Yep. You know what I mean? Like there's a definitiveness within the church or within a mosque or a synagogue, whatever your religious beliefs are, because you know this is where we go to pray for those who are dead.
Yep.
So it's that. Yeah. So that's why that is that I suffer from suicidal thoughts.
Is that something you reckon you'd talk about if you didn't do music? Or is it, do you reckon you just bury it and you wouldn't talk to anyone? Like, do you seek therapy at all or anything like that? Or
Yeah, I've had loads of therapy.
Loads of therapy.
Yeah.
Do you speak to your friends and family?
I think my therapist thinks I'm a freak.
Yeah.
That's another bar.
All right.
Yeah. I've had that, but like I have an acceptance of the intrusiveness of my thoughts. So yeah, and it is lethal because if you're not strong, that shit will kill you.
Well, that's
and I don't disregard the fact that it might not kill me one day. Like that it might kill me one day.
Well, that's what I was going to. You say it's lethal. I could imagine. I could imagine. And how do you pull yourself out of that day? Like you're saying, you hit that 16, 17 times a day. So how do you snap out of that?
Yeah, I mean, 16, 17 is an arbitrary number. It's just like a lot.
Yeah, of course.
But I can't snap myself out of it.
Right.
So I've accepted it.
It's a lifestyle.
I am not the product of... Thank you, Trissy. I am not the product of my thoughts. Yeah. And this is where we have to be careful because I hear a lot of people online, the Andrew Tates of the world, and he talks sense about being a strong man and the importance of positive masculinity. I'm with all of that. But I'm sorry, you just can't wake up and not be depressed because it's not sadness. It's not about exercise. It's not about diet. It's not about those things. It's who you are.
Really?
Yeah. Wake up and tell me your name's not Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work like that.
So you say who you are. Is that? Do you feel like depression has always been in with people?
Yeah,
like from birth.
Who, me?
No, people that suffer with depression. Do you feel like it's?
No, you can't do that. But some people will be predisposed to suffering from things like depression based on their social, economic, religious, racial circumstances. But all of those things play a factor. Like you can't say someone's not, someone is. Like, it's like cancer.
Yeah.
It's not asking no questions about who you are. It'll come for you.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So we got going into, as you was talking about like certain things, we got another track, Sick Mode.
Banger.
Sick mode, you know.
Big tune.
And in there you mention Unwell again as sick mode started. So get into what sick mode means.
And stare into space all night. So now I made friends with the darkness. Me and the nighttime are partners. Am I unwell again? Has sick mode started? Nah. It's K to the 𝐿, the guy with the red eyes, the mind of a Jedi. I said I am ready to the day that I die. If you ever wanna come and get mine, you better step up.
Yeah, so am I unwell again? Has sick mode started?
Yeah.
Nah. That's what it says. K to the 𝐿, the guy with the red eyes, mind of a Jedi. So yeah, sick mode is that point where I can't leave my yard.
Yeah.
I don't want to eat. I don't want to drink. I don't want to come out of my bedroom. I don't want to turn the lights on. I don't want to open the curtains. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to see my son. I don't want to speak to anyone. Yeah, that's sick mode.
So would you say is that like a describe? I know you've given us what action it is, but is there like a meter you could judge it where you say to yourself, all right, cool, I'm in this mode now, so I just need to be left alone, and then how you build yourself back up and whatever, because obviously the bars are going to be
definitely. I don't think I would ever have an active plan and building myself up from that. Like I spiral. Like, I don't honestly. I could go really a little bit too far right now, but like it makes me sick mode for me is where I stop placing value on life.
Okay.
That's sick mode. So whether homicide or suicide, you know, like I just don't care. Like, fuck you. That's it for me. Fuck this, fuck you, fuck everything. Destroy it. Smash it to pieces. Whether that be my reputation, whether that be you as an individual or this physical thing here. You know, whether that be on my ego, none of it matters. Smash it to pieces. I don't care. That's what it looks like for me. I don't care. Just don't care. Don't care. Don't care what you say. Don't care what you think. Don't care what happens. I don't give a shit about any of it. I don't give a shit. That's sick mode. I don't care.
With that, have you got any response of people that's listened to that? And they tell
I actually do. Do you know, I've since I started like putting my music out there and like sharing things on Instagram and stuff like that, and I've got a lot of people now who follow me who I've never met in my life, and I have conversations with people who I don't know about their trauma, things that they've gone through, what's happened here, Like, I know people who have lost, you know, babies and stuff like that, and they're talking to and just sending messages. I identify with what you're saying here, innit? Like, you don't care. Like, no, I don't care. I'm like, yeah, great. So that's important for me.
Yeah,
that's nice. That is nice. Not to say that, because I think it's toxic to have a friendship based on trauma. Because what you know, if you base something on trauma, what are you gonna both end up with?
Yeah.
You know, this is your foundations.
Yeah.
But it's nice to know that you heard a little bit and that you can give something back then.
Yeah. That's good.
Because it draws positivity from me. You're trying to turn a negative into a positive.
Well, yeah.
Because for me, if I can say, am I unwell again? Has sick mode started? Nah. And then bang, drop that as the beat drops. Everyone else thinks, this is sick.
Yeah.
But it's not for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's a good, nice way of translating and transition. But as you said, with the feedback, it's like, you know, you could envision it like a spider's web. Everybody that might be feeling a bit lost, as soon as they hear it, they get trapped in it, they think it, but they understand, hold on, there's a network of a few of us in this thing.
Fam, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been through a breakup?
Yeah.
Have you ever been for a breakup, Jay?
Yes.
Yeah? Yeah, when you hear Adele say something like, never mind, I'll find someone like you. Yeah?
Yeah.
We relate, right?
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
That's it.
Yeah, connected dots.
Music is powerful.
Very.
Powerful, yeah.
Very.
Yeah.
And so I want to sometimes provide that voice, because we've all been through a breakup, but not everyone's wanted to kill themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not everyone's wanted to live for forever and still thought about killing themselves every day.
And also there's people that have thought about it, that haven't spoke about it, or heard anyone even speak about it as well. You know what I'm saying?
And are still thinking about it, and still have the fucking strength to not do it. They've still turned up to work today at 5:30 and smiled at their manager. "You're right? Yeah, not too bad, thanks. How was your weekend? Yeah, lovely, yeah. Did you enjoy the coronation? Yeah, it was brilliant." And actually, they sat at fucking yard by themselves all weekend. Battling these thoughts. So fair play to those people. Shout out you, man. Trust me.
Definitely. That's gems right there.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So we'll be getting into now to them.
Yeah, I think it's time for the...
We're going to bring this energy.
There we go.
We're going to get into a little quiz, don't worry.
A quiz? No, bro, you come to the right guy. My head is not this big for no reason, you know.
Yeah, nah, definitely. And because you got a bit of medical background and stuff, we wanted to mix up a bit. So not just...
Can I just say, I'm not a doctor. Clinical background, not medical. Not medical.
A lyrical doctor, maybe?
Me not treatment. Me more talking.
So, Kier, we're going to get into the part of the show where we got a nice little quiz called Bring the Energy.
Yeah.
This is the part where people get to get their knowledge tested and you're going to be on there. So, Jay?
I'm down.
Yeah, let's get to it. All right. So, Kier, what makes up 60 to 70% of a human body?
Water.
Yeah.
All right, then you got that.
Yes, Kier. Really?
Come on.
There we go.
This is key stage 2. Come on.
All right, well, we'll see the next one. All right. Women do it twice as often than men.
Lie.
Correct. No.
Masturbate. I don't know.
It was blink.
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 Did you know that?
I didn't. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Hey. All right, go on.
Okay. So, how many teeth does an adult human have?
34.
Ooh.
36. 32?
Yeah, you were there.
But I'm lucky.
It was 30 even number, I knew that.
Some people don't have none. Anyway, what is Batman's butler's name?
Alfred.
All right, yes, okay. We'll try and switch it up, maybe get the music one now.
Oh, this is a...
Wait, do you know what the worst thing is? Yeah, I make music. If you ask me a music question, I'm gonna fail that.
You can't get this one wrong.
Okay.
You just can't.
Go on.
No pressure.
Who created grime?
Wiley.
You see, you couldn't get that wrong.
There we
You get
go.
it.
All right. Shout out Wiley.
We got another music one now.
Go on.
Who created the viral song Old Town Road in 2019?
That would have been Billy J. Cyrus and Lil Nas X.
You know what? We should have tricked him and just gone for the original.
Yeah.
That would have been good, man. Well done, go on.
All right. Okay, so... Okay, cool.
Wait, can I read?
No, so I was just thinking... No. I was starting thinking about how we deleted that. I was like, yeah. But okay, we can cut that out though, yeah? Cool, we'll roll straight into it. Okay, Kier, next question.
I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I like it too.
I kinda like it. It was playful.
We could chop it anyway.
Yeah. Okay, Kier, so who's officially the fastest rapper of all time?
Twister. Or Big Pun. Is it Twister? Who is it?
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'll just be absolutely honest with you. I thought it was something different as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Who is it? Twister. Eminem. Is it Eminem? Oh, Rap God. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Nah, come on. That's a one-off. Twister and Big Pun. They consistently rap faster than Eminem, but Rap God, I give you that.
Yeah.
Word for second. That's the tune, right?
Yeah,
it must be.
Yeah.
1,000,000%.
Right.
But out of the three, who's your favourite?
Eminem.
Oh, right.
Okay. What BPM is grime?
140.
Alright, you see, you didn't do that bad on the
you
music
done that
questions.
right.
No, what did I do? I got 90% and I got one wrong.
Yeah.
And I got it on Eminem. Imagine.
Come on. Yeah.
Deep, man.
No, but there's nothing to be.
I'm gonna go home and dye my head blonde.
I thought it was Twister at first as well.
Come on, innit?
Obviously,
Yeah.
you know, the card says
Let's
that.
get a little play, but damn.
Alright.
So, Kier, we're going to get to the next part of the quiz,
Let's do it.
where we show you a few flags to see how knowledgeable you are on your flags.
Okay.
So,
Red flags?
red flags. Do you have many red flags in your life?
Who, me personally?
Are you a red flag?
You have to ask my girl. I've got bare red flags. Trust me.
So, yeah, let's get into it.
Alright.
You've got 20 seconds. Let's go.
Okay. Australia. New Zealand. New Zealand?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on! Come on!
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Come on,
Good
shout out
man.
to Aussies. Hey, put another fucking trim on a Barbie, guys.
Yeah. All right then. So we got the second flag.
Who's
Let's
next?
see.
Who's next?
All right. Last flag.
Ethiopia? Is it an African country? Is it Eritrea? Oh, mate. Is it West or East Africa? Oh, look, the white guy's holding up the thing. He doesn't know. I don't know, man. Angola.
Cut. Oh. 1 out of 2 on the flag though.
What was it?
He was giving it a good go though.
Go on, what was it?
It was Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe. Oh, my days.
All right.
Do you know how many Zimbabweans I've worked with?
I was about to
Bro,
say, you're gonna have to
my
answer.
Zimbabweans, trust me. I know you speak Shona, yeah? Believe me, I know. What do they call me? What do they call me? Ah. I could have said white man in Shona, which is what they speak in Zimbabwe.
All right.
But
You would have won at the Shona part and it would have just been like, yeah, I don't speak Shona.
I want to do Zimbabwe again. Can we do that again, please?
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Yeah, well, it was
Please.
the same. It was the same.
Oh, man.
No, did I? I got my flags right, no?
Tom came
I
through
got
like
my
a
flags right.
right white cunt man as well. Telling you, innit?
Yeah, look at this one.
This country, right?
You know what I mean?
Smiling at
Man, you know you got a man sitting here from Nigeria. He's like, do you know what this word means in Welsh? Of course I don't. Are you Nigerian? What was that?
On the weekdays. Well, okay, you did very well. Obviously, you didn't get Zimbabwe at the end,
Yeah,
but
nah,
it was
I tried,
cool.
man.
It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. And you know, congratulations on completing the game. I think you got most of them right. Anyway,
What did I get? About 80%?
we'd say probably the 90. You did got
well.
about the 90.
Yeah,
You did
yeah,
well.
I like that. I'll take that. I'll take
Well,
that.
definitely
Good luck to
not.
trial.
Thank you very much, Kier. Is there anything that you'd like to say, Jay?
Yeah, no, obviously we've been good friends for a long time, Kier, and I always appreciate you anyway. We have amazing times growing up through life and everything we've been through. But at the same time, coming here today and sharing the story and dropping the gems for the people, as a team, we appreciate you. And you're obviously part of the Clean Energy family as well now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my guy. I appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, I'm here as well.
Do you know what? I would honestly like to take a second to say, like, I'll even check to the camera. I think what these guys are doing here in terms of clean energy, the questions they're asking, in particular, looking at young men to take accountability for themselves, their feelings, their actions, their thoughts. I'm massively, massively grateful to be here with these men today. So big shout out to you lot, Triz, Jay,
brother.
everyone behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Amazing job. You know, I'm blessed to be a part of what you lot are doing, man. I really, really see what you're doing. So thank you very much, man. You lot are amazing people.
Thank you.
Good human beings, really clean energy.
Yeah.
You know?
Bro, and we're very blessed to have you here as well. And we just wanted to, my guy, I wanted to bless you with a very special Clean Energy drop yourself.
Oh, look at
My
that!
guys, because we love you, bro.
Guys, get the merch! Get the merch!
coming.
You know what I mean?
Got it. Yeah.
Oh, you can't buy it?
Yeah.
No, it's coming, it's coming.
You got to be gifted.
Then you can't have it.
Nah.
You can't buy. You know what I mean? Don't purchase the merch. Nah, respect.
Yeah, come on,
Thank
bro.
you so much. Thank you very much.
Definitely,
Triz,
bro.
it's all love, man. You guys are good.
Yeah.
And everyone behind the scenes here, we've had a fantastic day. Trust me. And this t-shirt means a lot to me. Trust me. Clean energy.
Yeah, my broski, thank you.
guys,
I
thank
think it's only right that we wrap it up with what you do best. Drop us a little 32, 64, whatever you want to go for.
I'm ready.
We said we get into that, yeah?
Let's go.
On my broski.
Come on.
Let's get it done.
Yo, it's Kier. Clean energy. 2023. Talk to your friends. Be honest with yourself. You see me? Yo, I drink rum like a pirate. I bum weed like a rasta. So I'm hiding a pilot. I've seen too much where I've been. It believe a man blinded. Man are barely surviving. See the poor can't grow, but the rich keep thriving. They're looking happy as pigs and shit with their diamonds. But, mate, that don't impress me much. I think they're stuck in a rut. It's fucked. Government cuts, it's nuts. Fellas on road with Rambos, running in bandos, broke as fuck while they're following man on the gram with Rambos.
what a shambles. I ain't playing with my life, don't gamble. I light up the dark like candles, burning certain versions of me keep hurting. Then I block out the light like curtains. Still I'm old school like Merson, with a trick up my sleeve like Merlin. Big batty ting, tight jeans, I'm perving. I don't stay in my lane, I'm swerving. Let me dead this now, man, go and bring the hearse in. Look, I'm a person that's observing this earth worsen. Carrying the weight of the world is a burden. You can hear in the verse that Kier's heart is hurting. I'm up all night till I hear the birds chirping. Critical thinker, habitual drinker. That's why I have had another stinker. But how do you manage these thoughts that linger? Silence. All I hear is violence. I've been vibing. It's been a while since I've let them know that I've got the mind of a titan. You ain't never fought while I'm fighting, so I pause for a thought while I'm writing. I'm excited again, now I use notes on an iPhone. Still I'm quite nice with a pen. If you're trapped with rats, are you mice or men? It's not about how many times you have fallen, it's more about how many times you will rise, my friend. I ain't even trying to pretend I got lives to protect. Yeah, trust me, I got lives to protect. I'm a father. Look, clean energy. 2023. It's Kier. I ain't even trying to pretend. Ask yourself a very, very simple question. Do I love myself? Do you love the people around you? Because the people here today, they looked after me. Who's looking after you? That's what you need, love. Clean energy. It's Kier.
Clean energy. You know it's clean, clean energy. Yeah, we keep it clean with our energy. You know it's clean.